Hello, ICSE Class 10 students, and welcome to Scholars Academy. Think about the last time you saw a photo on social media edited with so many extreme filters that the person in it didn't even look like themselves anymore. That specific frustration with forced perfection is exactly what author Stephen Leacock wrote about over 100 years ago. In his short story, With the Photographer, a 40-year-old man walks into a studio. He wants a simple, realistic photograph of his face, flaws and all, so his friends have something to remember him by after he passes away. But he immediately runs into a wall. We can map this conflict directly. On one side, you have the narrator, humble, practical, and asking for reality. On the other side is the photographer, an arrogant professional who treats photography like a strict science and demands artificial perfection. This clash between accepting the way you actually look and forcing a completely artificial standard of beauty drives the satirical plot of this entire chapter. The psychological power play begins the moment the narrator enters the studio. He steps into an intimidating clinical environment characterized by dim light and frosted skylights filtering through cotton sheets. The photographer forces him into an agonizing 1-hour wait. To pass the time, the narrator is forced to read 3 specific, completely outdated magazines: The Lady's Companion from 1912, The Girl's Magazine for 1902, and The Infant's Journal for 1888. When the photographer finally appears, he is described as a drooping man with the dim eyes of a natural scientist. He relies heavily on this intimidating, large-format machinery, crawling in and out of the camera behind a black cloth. The dark setting, the punishing weight, and the bizarre machinery all work together to strip the narrator of his confidence. The photographer establishes total dominance before the shoot even begins. Once the narrator is on the stool, the physical manipulation starts. The photographer treats him like clay, twisting his head sideways, demanding he droop his ears, and ordering him to roll his eyes under his lids. The photographer steps back, looks at him, and seriously claims the narrator's face is quite wrong, suggesting it would be better if it were 3/4 full. The narrator remarks that he was glad to find that the man had such a human side. Behind that comment is the sting of being told his own face is wrong, turning the photographer's supposedly objective professionalism into something cold and insulting. The photographer completely ignores the human being sitting in front of him. He treats the narrator strictly as flawed raw material that needs to be fixed. This obsession with fixing flaws reaches its peak when the narrator returns on Saturday to see the final proof. The photograph he is handed looks absolutely nothing like him. Let's look at how the photographer achieves this. He proudly introduces a fictional technique he calls the sulfide process. In the context of the story, this chemical process is used for completely erasing unwanted physical features, like the narrator's eyebrows and ears. Then he uses another fictional technique called the delphide process. This is used for adding entirely new features. The photographer uses it to draw a brand new, higher hairline and reshape the mouth entirely. These absurd edits cross the line from photography into complete fabrication. By fixing the face, the photographer entirely erases the narrator's original identity. Let's apply this directly to an ICSE extract-based question. Here is passage 8, where the narrator tells the photographer to coat it with an inch of gloss. Below it are 2 exam questions. First, why does the narrator call the photo a worthless bauble? Second, does he approve of the techniques? Pause the video right now, read the passage, and answer these 2 questions out loud before continuing. Here are the ideal board-ready answers. For question 1, a bauble is defined as a worthless trinket. The photo is a bauble because it holds no resemblance to the narrator. For question 2, he vehemently rejects the techniques because they destroy the primary purpose of a photograph, which is to capture true resemblance. The story ends with the narrator stating, "I broke into tears and left." In this moment, the frustration of being poked and prodded finally breaks him. He feels the profound grief of seeing his God-given identity disrespected and entirely erased by someone else's artistic ego. Through this satire, Stephen Leacock defends self-acceptance. He values the genuine, original human features we are born with over any form of manufactured perfection. Before you go, take a quick screenshot of this ICSE exam cheat sheet. It holds the core themes, the tonal keywords, and the essential motifs you need for your final revisions. Keep practicing your extracts, trust the text, and we'll see you in the next